I feel like Reese is new, but she was here last time. We just didn't see her. Reese, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we didn't see you last time, but we know you were here.
Well,
So-
well, I didn't know how to do. I could see you, but I didn't know how to. But I couldn't listen to you. Because
Okay.
you were not, there was no sound.
That's why she came here.
Yeah.
So now she knows how to do that.
Oh, good. That
Right.
nothing like having a tech friend, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That's, Reese, you did what everybody else in this group does. You found a friend who knew more about your device than you do. That's a good way to go.
Yeah, that's
Great.
good.
Great. Well, welcome back, everybody.
on a computer.
Good. And we're glad you're here, and we encourage you to keep track of your handouts and we'll do some more if that's needed. And Chrissy's recording, and if you ever want the recording, just ask her. But we're using it just so we don't lose track of things that came up during the meeting. And so Ed was going to see if there's any new information, but I guess not, Ed, huh?
Well, not so far. Linda Brown was supposed, I think she's going to come in a little late.
Oh, is she? Okay. Well, if somebody new arrives, we'll stop for just a minute and make sure we know what kind of device they're on and what kind of concerns they have.
Yeah, but I think everybody that's on here right now was here last time. So I don't think we need to repeat the questions. I think everybody's already heard that. So,
yeah.
So basically, yeah, unless anybody's got, maybe people have got, they've had a week to think about something about the general issue of computer literacy, maybe people have thought of questions in the last few days that they want to bring up. Does anybody have some, particularly perplexing questions? Any more than they had last time?
Well, I have a question. I have an iPhone and an iPad, and they don't combine together. Is there a way to get that together?
You have an iPhone and an iPad?
Yeah. And so if I make pictures, then it doesn't come so I make a picture of the iPad, then it doesn't come on my iPhone, and the opposite way.
That would be
I would say that's a question for Harry. They're both Apple products. I would think that they would be compatible.
You'll want to sync it through the cloud.
Yeah.
Once you join the cloud, everything will come down to your devices. I just set up a new iPad here the other day. It said during the setup, it said, have your iPhone nearby and we can transfer the information. Well, it didn't transfer my pictures. So, and I don't use the cloud for pictures. So I'm not going to be able to, but the cloud, I think, is the secret on that. And I'm in a learning phase on a lot of that because I just don't use it. I use it for backups. The cloud, they offer you 5 gigs, and it's nice to have for your messages and your email or a few things you don't want to lose, your address book. But gosh, other than that, I don't use it. But anybody else who uses it a lot, please chime in.
Well,
So how do you get in the cloud?
Where did you get the iPhone or the iPad? Is it someplace local?
It's here in my purse.
No, but what I mean is if you purchased it.
Where I bought it?
Yeah.
God, I think in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle. Okay, because what's your provider for your phone? Is it Verizon or is it some other provider?
T-Mobile.
It's what?
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. Well, so I would think, don't you think, folks, that maybe she could go down to T-Mobile and ask them to help her sync her phone and her iPad?
They were planning to do that, but they were busy with other people, so I know I was in a hurry. So I'm going to go again, and when I have a little bit more time, and then I have that done. But now with the I might have the problem because of I have an iPad and an iPhone, but I have on my iPhone I didn't put how do you call it, messages on there. So my email. How do you say that?
Your email? You have email because you got this.
Yeah, but I don't. Let me see.
But this
You're-
is,
But
you're-
my iPhone doesn't have email.
It
And
should.
because I pay way less money because I have an iPad, so I don't need the email. So I don't have an email on my iPad. On my iPhone.
yeah,
That's the
you don't need
situation.
to, you don't need to
Would
use it.
that be the problem?
No, but you can certainly, one of the things we wanted to go over today is how do I get help without involving anyone else? And since this is actually an Apple product question rather than a T-Mobile question, you can simply go to apple.com on your iPad and follow the directions for syncing your photos across two devices.
Okay, and so that's easier said than done, but maybe by the end of today, when Harry's going to do a demonstration on how to Google something, that you'll get some good ideas on that. Let's see if you do.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I see Leslie. Leslie, we can't
Hello?
see you, and that's fine if you don't want to be seen, and we can't hear you, but we want to include you. If you want to come on with sound, you're muted right now.
So you can go to group.
I don't know if it's Leslie or
That's okay.
Rob.
Maybe
Okay.
some folks want to just lurk, and that's okay.
Okay, if you want to come on, we'll find out more about what you're hoping to get out of this. But otherwise, Leslie, or is that Rob? Okay, well, speak up if you want.
Yes,
Okay.
no pressure.
All right. All right. Well, so for today's session, I'm going to turn it over to Harry, and his theme is kind of along the lines of Weese's question. What if you have a question? How do we develop our tools for problem solving when we have a question like Weese's? And he's going to use a combination of the basic terms and also do some demos for us. So Harry, take it on.
I'll take it over, and I want to say a few things, and one of them, of course, is please lasso me in and do not be shy with your questions. I have some nervous energy that is upsetting to folks, and so don't let me go without yelling or saying something. And also, I can't stop thinking about it. One of the reasons we want to begin with the handout is because of the issues with making a live on-screen demonstration. It may be easy for me to do, but it's not easy for you all to see. And I don't want to focus on that. I want to be able to talk this common language. Now, I'm telling you, I'm the first one to call these things black boxes and hit that button and use the loosest terminology, but I have to try to stay to my basics myself. But so we're going to try to do it with words if we can, and then when we need a demonstration, we'll try to do it with a demonstration, but it's no easy answer.
Do you know where we are?
Okay, folks are talking amongst themselves, and that's good. Okay, so on the first page, if there's one of the things I wanted to say, is there anything here that anybody is confused about? What a desktop is, what a cursor is, and realizing that you're not on a computer. Okay, the third thing I wanted to start with, I remember it now, is that ideally, the way to learn stuff would be to be sitting in front of a computer that has a larger screen with your device in your other hand, so that we can, you can see what to do with the device. It's like opening a video and having somebody go through and teach it. But I realize that's an ideal. We may not all be able to do that. We're kind of on one device, and that's how we're going to do this.
Okay, Betty Ann, did you have a question?
Well, I was just thinking, I never have heard referred to what is a doc on your
Okay,
question. Yeah.
Yeah, only on a Mac. It's called a dock on a Mac. It's called a taskbar on a PC. This is where the two worlds diverge, but it's the same thing we're talking about. The place where all the icons for your applications reside.
Okay.
Why don't you show it, Harry? Can you, on the shared screen?
They can hear us, right?
So for my iMac, it's along the bottom, probably.
Yeah,
And that's
where
where
all those are, that's the dock.
Okay, I didn't know that was the dock.
I don't commonly call it a dock. I've come from the PC world, so I commonly call the dock a taskbar, and people in the Mac world don't know what I'm talking about. So there's one thing we've covered. That's good. Thanks for asking.
And Harry, I have a question too. You know, at the top of the screen, when you open your, when you look at the desktop, the little words along the top that where the apple is and the other things, is that called the menu, or what is that called? That bar across the very, very top of your desktop.
That's a good question.
Ed, you were calling that the menu bar, right? Yeah, your
You're
sound's
muted.
off, Ed.
Yes, it is called the menu bar.
Yeah.
Okay, now you might sometimes have more than one menu bar depending on what you have open, right? Or not, if you're not at full screen.
Well, if you're on a website of some sort, sometimes the website itself has it has some sort of a bar that goes across the top or down the side that has a list of commands that you can
Okay,
use for that website.
okay, so at the
But
very
don't-
top here is the menu bar
Yeah, the very top of the desktop
of the
of
desktop.
of your computer screen,
Yeah.
with the icons, you know, where it says, where it shows a picture of the apple, and it shows, it has some symbols like the audio little, the little speaker box, and so forth. Those are all functions which you can access in that menu bar if you just click on them, so.
And for Windows people, it's really isolated to the taskbar. Pretty much everything is on the taskbar.
Okay,
And they don't really have the convenience of that menu bar,
okay, thanks.
depending on what program they're in, of course. But we're talking about the desktop now. So anybody confused about what the word desktop actually means? Nope. Good.
Okay.
Now, one thing that comes to mind is that when some people think that when I'm referring to the desktop, I'm actually referring to a web page, if they're in a web page. And those are they're really two different things. The desktop is when you've got all your other windows closed and you're back at your computer screen, and that's all you see is your icons that you have on there yourself. So it's not interchangeable. It may seem it should be, but it isn't. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in. So folders, documents, PDFs, we kind of have a grip on what those things are.
Does anybody, go ahead, Ed.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea just to go over some of those terms, just so we're all on the same page. I don't think it would hurt
Yeah.
to do that.
Me too.
Okay, well, all right. Let me close a few windows here and maybe I can try to do that. I'd like to see if I can isolate it to an area. Not
For
a
instance-
whiteboard.
For instance, some people might be confused, or what's the difference between a folder and a document, for instance? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know that.
Okay, is that you, Becky?
Yes.
Hi, Becky. Great.
Hi there.
Okay,
Well, as you can see, if you can see this, and
you can.
some of you are looking at it on a pad or some are on a phone, but this is a folder. It's similar on a PC. I've just called it a spare folder because it happens to be empty right now. But if I double click it, it opens like any other folder. And let me see if I can enlarge this screen a little bit and minimize my little, there, that makes more sense. So I guess different on a, but it's an empty folder and I can create a new folder in here. I can go and create other things by using the right click. The right click is one of the other things I'm going to get to on page 2, but
Usually when you opened a folder, you'd have documents or something in there,
yeah,
right?
there'd be something in there. Let me put something in there so that we can access it here. Here's a file. This is a file that somebody sent me. It's a pages, happens to be a pages document, which is the Apple version of Microsoft Word, word processing. So I can double click that and open it. I can right click and I can choose to move it to the trash. I can choose to get info. So we're covering the right click and the left click all at the same time. I get a little info screen here when I click the info button. But
Where's the info button?
that's when you right click it.
Okay.
You can right click your folder, get one menu, and you right click a document. Well, I've clicked on different things here, but depending on what you're doing, you can learn more about it by right clicking it.
Does that mean you just touch the right-hand side of your iPad pad,
So
Yeah.
of your computer pad?
No, you use 2 fingers, Betty Ann. Isn't that we decided, Ed? 2 fingers is
Yeah,
right click.
on an iPad, yeah, it has to be done with 2 fingers.
Okay, because I never do that. All right.
2 fingers and then it drops down.
Yeah,
Something drops down.
yeah, you know, the little track, yeah, the little trackpad, use 2 fingers and press down, and that should
Together.
activate the right click.
And then how do you activate the left click?
Then
One
you just use
finger.
one finger.
Okay.
Yeah, just your normal finger. I should pull my pad over here and see if I can do some of these things. So is that about as clear as mud? I don't want to hang this up with demonstrations because I realize you got to squint to see them.
Okay,
Well,
no,
but-
that's good. We can
Yeah.
see them.
Okay,
Now, basically what you're saying is that the folder is where you store documents.
And you can name it anything you want. And then if you have let's say I have a meeting, so I might call it the Tech Tips meeting is the name of the folder, and I put all of our handouts in it. But I want to then say, well, just session 1, I can make another folder in that first folder and put things in it.
And
So
Linda,
hi,
how do you-
Linda. Great.
And you
how do
can,
make
and you,
another folder? Is it with your 2-finger right click?
Yes.
Oh. I never
and you can create as many folders as you want. You can have folders within folders within folders, you know, so.
now on a pad though, you can make a folder by dragging one item next to another item and it'll automatically create a folder and put them both in it. But that's, yeah, I don't know on a pad if this is pertinent at all. I don't, anyway, this is
Okay.
really geared more for computer stuff.
Okay, so Harry, should we go back to the full group?
Oh.
And I think we've got some new people here that we might want to bring on board.
Oh, 39. And you go to the right and then turn left.
We've got Linda and Becky, we've got you.
She's on the phone.
Linda, how are you doing?
Good.
Do you want to just, Ed, find out a little bit more about these new people and Becky and Linda?
Sure.
Ed knows as much. He's the one that bought my Mac for me. I have a MacBook Pro and I didn't want to go to the place to get it. So he took care of all that, but I don't understand it.
Okay. And
And-
do you have an iPhone or do you have an Android phone?
I have an iPhone.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I have a MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro and an iPhone, okay?
So what is the looming problem for you, Linda? What do you have trouble with?
I keep losing things. I'm losing all the stuff that guy transferred over is still gone. I know it's here somewhere. I'm, you know, just, and I don't know how to do some things. I finally disconnected the grammar checker, which was driving me crazy. And that was exciting, but I still am having problems. So let me think about it.
Okay,
I'll make a list this week.
good. Becky Schull, do you want to tell us what device you're using? You're muted right now. You don't need to, but if you want to, unmute yourself and tell us.
I think Linda would benefit from the lesson on the Finder, which we're going to chat about here in a couple seconds. Pull my
Okay.
other documents up.
Okay, so let's go forth again, Harry. Good.
Moving on here, there's just one little thing I didn't get to show you on that, but we'll be coming back to it. Nothing is going to be not revisited. We'll always revisit stuff, so it all comes back around. Locating a program, people, like we just kind of said, it's either on the menu bar or rather the taskbar or the dock. They call it dock in the Apple world, and anyway, we kind of covered that. You double click it and it'll open a program. There is another way on a Mac to do it. It's sort of unnecessary unless you want to add an icon to your dock. It's really doesn't need to be covered right now. But here we are, right here on the front page, Finder in Windows Explorer. In the Mac world, it's called a Finder. In the Windows world, it's called Windows Explorer, and it's basically your file cabinet for your computer. Now I can show you Finder, but I can't show you Windows Explorer unless I get over on my laptop. But let's see what I can do. It's something I gotta kind of show. I can't really talk too much about it. It's the, I'll close my basics. It's accessed right at the menu bar, the word Finder. And when you click it, you get I'm gonna have to share the screen, or at least a portion of it.
Go for it.
And now it says Zoom here. But I can't quite get it all the way up to there. Now you should be seeing this folder that I created here, in addition to my other nonsense. But here's your Finder up by your Apple. Yeah, this is like making a small laptop here. That's your Finder, and that's, you just normal left click it, and it'll open. Well, it usually does. It's not working with this window on it here.
It opened.
Are you?
But I'm in a Finder because I created a folder. Yeah, let me close that.
You said left click or right click?
Yeah, normal click. Yeah, we distinguished between left click and right click here a few seconds ago.
Is
So
that
we might
on the
need to go
Mac?
over that again.
Is
Yeah,
that on
let's
the
go over-
Mac? Does the Mac also have right click, left click?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on your trackpad or your touchpad there. I think you can touch the right side and open up submenus depending on where your cursor is. But it's a quick way to get to.
No, it's 2 fingers.
Linda,
It's rather-
use 2 fingers.
Oh, it's still 2 fingers. Okay.
On your trackpad, to get the right click to activate it, you push down with 2 fingers rather than 1. If you push down with 1 finger, that's left click. If you push down with 2 fingers, that's right click. If you do it with 2 fingers, it activates a different series it gives you a different set of information about whatever it is you're wanting to find out about.
So this is Finder, right?
Yeah, this is Finder, but this is simply, I got here simply by opening that little folder. Double clicking that little folder opens Finder to that folder. And, but it's a Finder window. It's got all your, I've got a lot of things here, but it's got your basics are your movies, your downloads, your applications. What you'll see on a new computer, Linda, is just your music, your pictures, your documents, and probably the desktops. Of course, the recents. So wherever you go, you can go back.
How do you go back?
There's the back button right there. Can you see my,
Yeah,
you may have to squint.
we see it.
Okay.
It's pretty big.
Show us again. Go in and go out.
But you go
Where's the
anywhere. Here's my collection of New Yorker covers. You can go anywhere you want in a series, and every time you go back, it'll go back to the previous place you were.
You see the little arrows that he's clicking at the top there?
It's just like a web browser in that way.
Do you ever put things in the Finder, or there just are things in the Finder?
Every
The
time you add a folder, it goes into the Finder.
Yeah, it's accessed it's viewed by the Finder. You can put things anywhere you want, in any folder, in any subfolder, wherever you want. But yeah, you can put, in other words, how did I get all these icons here? Well, I want to make a link in my Finder for this folder that's on my desktop that I haven't titled yet. How do you title a folder? You slow click it and give it a name. What does slow click mean? You just don't double click or right click, you slow click. And it opens it up where you can retitle it. Now that's true with any document too.
I didn't know.
Click the title, slow click it, and you'll be giving it a new name. You may have done this accidentally on things, wondered why the name went away, and you have a strange document on your desktop. You retitled it by accident. There's many rabbit holes to go down on these things. Okay, here's my new folder. It's inside my folder on my desktop that I've been talking about here. I've minimized it. I've made it small to fit up here in this corner here and obscure some of my tax data and stuff. But I want it in my Finder window. I want to see this every time I open my Finder. Okay, you drag it over, boom, it puts it right there. Now I don't happen to have anything in it. So when I click it, you got a blank screen over here, but that's okay.
I guess what I do is everything gets into documents somehow, and it's underneath in there somewhere.
Yeah, you can choose to put it wherever you want it. I mean, it's like, for instance, that's another way to make this confusing. This folder that I've been talking about here happens to be on my desktop.
Yeah.
Well, here's my desktop folder showing all the things that are on my desktop, including the spare folder that just got renamed. It's got this funny thing in it at the top. It's the one I worked on most recent. So when I sort by date modified, here it comes up at the top.
Okay.
But you could put that into your document file if you wanted, correct?
You can put it anywhere you want. Yeah.
You could just drag it into your document file, or you could leave it on your desktop.
It's basically a filing cabinet. It's all the Finder is, and all the Windows Explorer is a file cabinet.
Okay.
Harry, you must have covered this before I came in, because I came in late. But what is a slow click?
Yeah, you didn't really cover that. Harry, can you explain that again?
No, that was the third thing I wanted to say. There's left click, right click, and slow click.
And how do you slow click on a trackpad? It does say that on our
One of the
it tells
most,
you how to do that on the
yeah,
if you go to your help folder. Should we demonstrate that, Harry?
one of the most common things. Let's see if I can find something that is a real common problem. This is one of the most common problems that you will encounter. Is you've got a photograph that you've put in your pictures folder or anywhere, and it's got the name of the file for the title of the photo. This is the most annoying thing. How do I change the name of this file to reflect what the photograph is? Now this applies to any document, any picture, any other kind of thing, a folder. Let's stick with the folder idea here. I'm going to go back a few steps. Here's that folder that I renamed with a jiggly jog name. I wish I could expand this so you could see it easier. Okay, to answer the question, what's the slow click? Well, for me to get this so I can change it, I have to slow click. Instead of double clicking opens it. I don't want to open it. Right clicking gives me a menu. I don't want a menu. I want to click slowly on it. Okay, once to highlight it. See, it went blue. Click once to highlight it, and again slowly to give it, to make it possible for you to put the name in.
So it just means pressing down slowly on it.
And don't
Instead of
double
push-
click.
Yeah, instead of doing it hard, a radical click. So you can experiment with that and see if you can change the names of documents, right?
Yeah,
That was
Very-
me.
that's basic computer. That's first day computer stuff that I was hoping we could get into and share, because it's so perfectly primal. It's elementary.
I think
Harry-
we all do these things, but we often don't know quite how we did it or remember what we did.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy ways. I don't want to discourage you from clicking around and looking at things. There's things you can do when you right click something that you don't want to do, but don't be discouraged and don't be afraid, because there's an undo button. Well, there's no undo in this screen here that I know of. Let's see if there is. File, edit. It's going to be under edit. I'm still at the top of a Mac desktop here with Apple, Finder, File, Edit. Let's see if I can undo the renaming of that folder. I just did. Let me see if I can redo the renaming of that folder. These are elementary things that make life handy for you. If you accidentally click that thing and you hit and the cat walked across the keys and you say, oh my God, what was the name of that person or that folder or that city? You go up to edit, undo, and it puts the name right back where it was.
Wow.
Great.
I mean, this is going to be, there's 3 of you for whom this is boring, I'm sure.
Well, I
Well,
have a question.
I don't think any of this applies to an iPad, does it?
Take yourself off.
Does it apply to an iPad?
No,
Kind of, sort of.
Does it,
Wow.
Susie, does it apply to your iPad?
It's my photos with because you're talking about like
Yeah.
so like I have photos in an album in different with different names underneath there. Now when I want to take the photos out, then all the photos go out, but the problem is the square box underneath there doesn't have still have that name on there, and I cannot get that name out of there to put like other photos in and put another name on there. Do you understand?
Not
Yeah.
entirely.
So
I
okay,
have
so
I have my Photos app open on my phone. I mean, I realize we're kind of going off track here, but this is good. This is what we want to be able to do.
okay, well this is my photos are in an album.
Right.
Okay, now under the album, under the photos is a name from what it is, like Africa or something like that.
Right.
And so now I want to take all the photos out, and I just click them all out, like that. But then under the thing, the name still stays in there, and so I cannot change that name and get the whole thing out and put another name under there with other photos.
Okay, I'm on one right now. I have an empty folder the same way. It's an old name and it's an old folder.
Yeah.
I'm slow clicking. I'm holding my finger down. That usually gives me access to it. I can click, yeah, and once you're in it, you can add folders to it. But let's see if we can. Let me go see if I can rename it here.
Yeah, that's what I
You
want.
can
Yeah.
go into your empty folder. How do I rename it though?
Yeah.
Not crystal clear to me that I'm able to do that right now, but I know you can.
So let's hold on to that question. Harry, we might be able to research that.
I'll have
Okay.
to leave this open and come back to it. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
But
Harry, do you think it would be useful for me to show people with Macs how they can get to to learn more about the way their touchpad works?
Yeah, that was an excellent, you did
Do you
it the
guys
other
want to
day.
see that?
Show 'em.
Okay, let me see if I can
That was
show you.
brilliant. That'll give me a chance to rest my throat.
Okay, so let's see. Let let me see if I can get this to work. Okay. Okay, can you guys hold on a minute? Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Pomegranates.
Okay, the apple up in the corner right here, you see where I'm moving my cursor? If I
yeah.
click on that and then I go to About This Mac, this little screen comes up. And then I go to Support. And then I say, well, I want to see what the user's manual is for this. So I hit the user's manual. And then this really interesting user's manual comes up, but it's only 34%. You see this? 34% size. So I have to go up here and make it bigger. I can go all the way up to 100% or more, okay? And this starts showing me how that it's got information on how my iPad works. Now, the problem I'm gonna have a minute here is, okay, I've got to go down here, and then I've got to go across here to this side, and watch this. I'm gonna go up again to the first row. And now look at this touchpad information. This is gonna show me about right click. This is secondary click, 2-finger swipe to navigate, smart zoom. This tells me how to use my trackpad. Click, double click, pinch to zoom, rotate, secondary click, 2-finger scroll. So you can go there anytime and learn about how your touchpad, your multi-touch gestures can work.
Relu, tell us again the steps to get there. You
Okay, I'm
start with
gonna tell you
tap.
again, I'm gonna do that. Hold on. Okay, so let me get out of there. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here. So you go up to your Apple in the corner
Yeah,
and you go to About This Mac.
If you could pause there just for a second.
Okay,
A lot of times when you're on the telephone with tech support, they're going to ask you to go here to identify your operating system. It's worthwhile pausing here for a moment.
okay, this tells me that I have an 11-inch mid 2013 MacBook Air. It tells what my processor is, how much memory I have. And so this is my serial number. It has a lot of information about this.
If you ever suspect you have a piece of software that's running slow or seems to be out of date, you click that software update button and you can get software updates you can prompt it to give you software updates beyond the normal software updates that it wants to give you. I've got one pending for tonight. I think maybe the rest of you anybody running Apple got a new OS today.
Well, I wanted to tell you, I'm not going to go through each of these, but you can explore them. For instance, on storage, it tells you how you're using the storage on your computer and how you can change that. But I'm going to go over to support for this purpose, okay? So I go to support, and then it's got Mac help. If I go there, it's going to give me some, it's going to give me a menu of ways I can get help for my thing. Now, is this also on an iPad, you guys? I would think maybe iPads have this
I think
too.
go into settings on iPad and look around.
Yeah.
I think.
It's like a phone.
Okay.
It's like
And
a
then
phone.
the user manual is the second one, Betty Ann. And that's where it pops up. And you notice at the top, it's very small. You have to increase the size of it and be able to scroll up and down and across.
You're
That's where
seeing
you
this,
find it.
Linda. Aren't you seeing this, Linda?
I'm seeing it on Mary Lou's, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
it's
right.
on
You're not
yours
doing it at
too.
the same
If
time.
you go
Yeah.
up to your Apple in the corner, yours is going to be there too, Linda.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't-
you'll find the same little box that drops down, and you'll be able to go to the same places and look at support, and you'll have a user's manual in yours too.
I'm
Go to
going the
storage.
old
Go ahead and go
fashioned
to
way to
storage.
write.
Yeah, you can explore it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's all I wanted to show you. Okay, back to you, Harry.
You
Okay,
had a
so-
giant P on your screen. What was that?
I have a what?
A giant P.
No,
The
that's a
letter- the
giant
letter
pomegranate.
P.
Oh, that
No,
was,
no, 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 the letter P at
I
the
do.
bottom of the screen.
I didn't see,
They want to break.
Did anyone else see that?
no.
It's along your list with things like your mail and your Safari, I can't think of the words, Google. I mean, all the things at the very bottom of your screen. It had a
Ah.
giant P.
Oh, that P, that is for that's probably PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
That's PowerPoint.
Yeah, that red one. Thank you.
does yours look like that, Linda? Or do you have your icons on the
I
side?
thought you were
can-
talking about my pomegranate.
No, I'm talking about the
That P at the
insignia.
bottom, that's for PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's a newer version too.
Okay,
It must be.
okay. If you pardon me for a second, I'm gonna take over the screen again here, and
Yep.
I realize it's rather intrusive. When it happens here, when one of you does a demo, my whole screen suddenly goes into full screen mode. I don't have it in full screen mode right now. I have it parceled out, but so it's abrasive, but here it goes.
No, that's the way we can see it, Harry.
I
We
know,
can see it.
yeah, that's our way here. So I wonder if you're seeing the Zoom screen sharing stuff too here, probably. Anyway, how do I get help directly? Well, you open your Safari browser, which is just a fancy name for anything that accesses the World Wide Web. As a browser, you're browsing the web, and you go to Apple for Apple problem, apple.com, www.apple.com, or you go to Microsoft, www.microsoft.com, or you go to YouTube. But, and I don't want to isolate the Microsoft folks. If anybody's, maybe there's nobody here that's
Well,
running.
Rob left because he said we were talking about Mac stuff, and he said he'd join us another time if we talk about.
Okay,
PCs.
Rex,
Okay, see, we've
No,
already
Rob
alienated
left.
one person.
Oh, Rob
I'm
did.
sorry for that. I try to group them together, but once you're here, you've got a portal to all sorts of helps, and specific to iPad, iPhone, watch, TV support if you need it. You can learn so much here, and it's really not that cumbersome. It may be for some people, but and this is also, once you've done one of Mary Lou's links, you're there anyway, so you can get back. It takes you to apple.com just to a specific page. So just wanted to share that at the moment here. Now I'm going to pull my document up so I can stay on track here a little bit. I think we've covered the first page, navigation. Well, that's kind of what we've been doing, but
well, that navigation is what I think Linda was talking about, that she's having problems with. She can't find things, right? She can't move around on her computer to find the things she's looking for.
yeah.
What kinds of
yeah,
things are
that's-
they, Linda?
Well, for example, they transferred all of my emails, thousands of them in clumps,
Yeah.
and they were on the left side of my screen, and then they vanished, and I don't know how to find them.
Do you know where, are they in mail? Are they in the mail?
Yeah,
So
Yes,
if you bring up mail, you can't find them?
no, I'll bring up, I only have today's mail. That's it.
Oh,
And it limits me on that.
huh.
And I don't see anything at the top of the screen that would help me.
I wonder if you have multiple desktops, like I know on an iPad and an iPhone, you can slide through different desktops. Is that the same way, Mary Lou, on a Pro? You're running a Pro. Do you have multiple desktops?
I don't have a Pro, I have a MacBook Air, but I do have multiple desktops, yes.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what you suggested and go to the Mac manual and see if I can find it there, because now you've told me how to do that.
Okay, and
It doesn't have-
place, it also can take you to Apple Help, and you could also ask there.
Okay.
I think one thing we talked about, and Ed was saying, we're going to try to present some tools, and then we're going to have to experiment. And when we run into trouble with them, bring those questions back. Yeah. Harry, were you going to do a demo of Googling something and
Well,
getting the
I
various
could.
answers? Because I think that was useful for people to see. what
It's,
you did for us the
I
other
just,
day.
I sympathize so much with Linda Brown, and Delma tells me this all the time. It always seems to happen that something disappears. Well, if you didn't drag it and drop it into the trash or put it in a folder somewhere, it's got to still be there. Now, if it was something that was in process, I don't know how you set up run those emails in, but if it's not in your email, then it wasn't part of a process. It was a folder on your desktop. So your emails were in a folder on your desktop. The next day they weren't.
Or were they in your mail? Were they in your mail, or were they in a folder in the desktop?
They were on the screen. There were boxes of emails that had like thousands of emails in each one.
Huh.
Well,
Can I just
do you
interject?
mean folder or not?
And
Yes, I took Linda's, when she got her new computer, I also took her old computer over. And what they did was they transferred everything on her old computer over to the new computer. And they put it in several folders on her desktop.
Mhm.
And she has been moved, she moved some, and some of those had all of her emails in them. And she moved those out of the folder onto her main desktop, and they were stored in her Finder.
uh-huh.
So the email, they're there. I think she's just not clicking the right button on her email client, on the Apple Mail client, which she gets her email through Earthlink,
Uh-huh.
That's
but
terrible.
she uses the Apple Mail client to open up her emails.
But if her emails were on her desktop, how do they get into her mail app? They'd have to be put into there, right?
Yeah.
Linda,
I'm-
there's
I'm-
something.
Answer the question.
This is time for humor.
What I'm doing was what you're saying. I was going through trying to find what he was talking about as I went. So I went to Finder, and I went from AirDrop to Recents to Applications, Downloads. So I went to Downloads. I don't see anything yet.
Oh, so you're going through, you've got us minimized to part of your screen, and you're practicing as we go. Good.
Yeah.
Check your trash.
How do you,
Oh, it's not in my trash.
Good. That's good.
how
That's
does
good.
how does she minimize the Zoom so that we could see our computer?
I just actually opened mine on top of y'all.
Oh,
Did it
You can
block?
go to
itself?
your email and experiment on your desktop if you want, and then we disappear, and then you have to click on Zoom again to get us back.
Or you can minimize it and it'll be in the corner.
I just clicked on it and then I clicked it off and it went away.
Yeah, if you
So-
get in, there's a minimize button at the
Under-
top of the
Under
screen.
Finder, I just went under
Yellow.
Finder.
Green. If you do yellow, you'll go minimal.
okay, I got it.
So Ed, let me ask you, was lit with the email on the desktop and folders, were they expecting Linda to import those into her email client from the desktop folders?
That's confusing.
I think they were on her hard drive.
Well, everything's on your hard drive. See, it's useful to have these types of discussions because right away we're dealing with what we need to deal with. Terminology, what means what, identifying where you are. We're right in the thick of it, and this is exactly where we need to be.
Okay, well, I think what he moved over there were all of her old emails. Emails that, I don't think Linda, I think she like a lot of us, we tend to forget to get rid of old emails, and they kind of build up, I think he
At least.
I didn't know that they were there. I didn't know that I had those emails.
Yeah. Well, I think he moved all of the old emails over and he put them in folders on her desktop.
Okay.
So they would be part of her hard drive, right? And they're still there, I think, aren't they, Linda?
Well, I would assume they are because they haven't been in the trash. I just don't see them anywhere.
And you're
Yeah.
not planning to put them in your email.
What
You're not
con-
gonna know.
what
Yeah.
confuses me
In fact,
though
my
is
email
sometimes-
now is just this long. It's just a short little thing.
If,
Well, but
if
you-
they're on your desktop, you will be able to find them in your Finder by clicking desktop. I've had to do this frequently. I have such a cluttered desktop. I can't find things readily. I go to the Finder, I click desktop, and I get a list or a display. I get 3 different ways to look at my contents of my desktop.
Well,
You
show
wanna
us.
show us that? Why don't you demo that?
Let's demo that right now.
All right.
Whoops.
Demo.
You're not gonna like what you see, but I'm gonna do it.
I go to desktop and I have nothing on my desktop.
Amazing. That's
Everything on my
amazing.
desktop.
Some people are organized, I'll tell you.
I'm seeing something that says a leader in the 2020 quad. Oh, there it is. Holy cow.
Wow.
cow.
Goodness gracious.
Now, I got 2 things open. I don't want to be confusing here, so I'm going to close these things behind and try to just occupy this little area with this, my particular Finder window. The Mac, anymore, the Mac application, the Mac Finder window comes up defaulting to this Recents tab, and it shows all your recent documents, and you can organize that in any way you want. But the one I am frequently going to just to find things is desktop. Now let's talk about this just for a second. Yours isn't going to look like mine, and you're going to thank goodness that it doesn't. But you can do different things. Look, you can view it as a list. You can view it as icons. You can view it as columns. You can view it as a gallery. There's a number of ways to view any folder, any place on your computer. I sometimes prefer to use the view as a list simply because you have these wonderful sort options. You can sort by the name of the folder, sort by the size of the thing you're looking for. And look, I got things that are so huge here, they shouldn't even be here. And I can sort by the date it was modified. That's a real quick way. I made it yesterday, sort by date modified. How am I sorting? I'm clicking the column header. This is universal. This is true in Windows and Mac across the board.
Okay.
Now, I got excited and I went too fast. So back me up. Let's talk.
Okay.
Anybody
Why don't you
with
just
me?
Go over that one more time.
Okay, good. Please. You gotta throw.
You went to desktop.
Yeah,
And
how
show
do I
us
get
how
to
you sorted
desktop?
it.
How do I get the Finder? How am I going to do this? Let's start from fresh.
Yeah, go a little slower so we can write.
Slower.
down.
Go to Finder.
Finder.
Yeah, but my Finder doesn't open a window for some reason. I don't know why it's not do. Oh, it's on the right side. No wonder. Here, let's go over the right side. I got to take this over. How can I drag this whole frame?
What's happening?
Harry, why do, when I make folders and do all these things, they don't show up on desktop? Why is that?
You didn't make it on the desktop.
Yeah,
You made
I never saved to the desktop. That's probably why, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
why, Betty Ann.
Okay.
This is the icon for Finder. Are
Oh,
you
okay.
able to?
Right.
You're able to see this. Oops,
Little
look, I'm
smiley
getting
face.
mail.
We
Mail's
go-
dropping in. This puppy.
Oh, yeah.
You don't open Finder by going to Finder Word. You go to Finder icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, got it open. Now I drag my screen over here. It's over here on this side where I was kind of working. And there's my Finder, again, defaulting to recents, a set of recents.
Mhm.
So those are all your reasons. That's where it defaults.
Goodness, my Mac.
And desktop, right? We go to desktop, and any folder you choose to look at, you can sort by any method you choose here by using the view button. You can group icons. I tend to leave them in no groups because it's kind of artificial. You could create a new folder with the action button. And there's just a number of things you can do. It's a critical thing to know your navigation. Now, Linda, here's our question. What's in your desktop? Do you see those folders full of your emails?
No,
What is the name of your folders, Linda, that have the email in them?
I think they just say, they're not folders of mine. It's whatever they sent over when they transferred
And
it.
did they call them email?
Can you find
Yes.
them now?
Yeah, they were.
So then you
they
can go
kinda look
down.
like-
Okay,
they
so
kinda
you
look
want to
like
go to your,
boxes.
the name of your hard drive, which is going to have your name next to it. Mine is Harry Thompson. And you want to do a search. Click the search button. I did two things fast there. Let's back up. This Zoom control panel is in my way. I wish I could move it.
You can. What do you mean, control panel? What do you mean by control?
Move it
panel?
over. Click on it and move it over, Harry.
Oh yeah, you say so.
It won't.
Okay, hey, Harry, you might explain how to identify the hard drive in the menu in the Finder.
On
So-
a Mac, it's got your name on it. And I
Yeah,
know
but-
you guys can't do this with me at the same time because, well, Linda is. She's got us minimized to the side.
You
So
can-
that's good. Now, when you do your, of course, he doesn't realize that I'm in a Zoom meeting. Sorry, are you guys hearing all that?
Yeah?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, click decline. You, all you're gonna see on a fresh new install is your movies, downloads, pictures, and a few things like that. But one of them has a drive, has your, it's like your folder. Mine happened to be called Harry Thompson. It's got everything. But to get specific here, where is my hard drive? It's down here called Macintosh HD. That's, if you can't find your name there on the left side, then go to Macintosh HD. Now that may or may not display depending on how you have your Finder set up. But that is where you go before you do a search so that you can search everything. You don't want to search in one folder. You want to search everywhere for the words email to find your mail or whatever the folder was titled.
Okay, I can tell that I'm gonna have to play with this.
Yeah, play
Yeah.
with it. See what
But
you
this
find
is
out.
really helpful because it's giving us the idea of how you explore around.
Yeah. And we are on track. We're still on that first page and that's just where we need to be. Basics. We are navigating like crazy.
Well,
It's navigating is a major challenge until you figure out how to do it.
You know, it's funny because a lot of us knew how to do this when we had old PCs, and then when we switched to Mac, we got confused.
Yeah.
well, I've lost y'all completely except for your voices.
Okay.
If you push escape, we come back, I found out.
No, you don't.
Did you minimize the screen,
No.
the Zoom screen?
Where the heck is the Zoom screen?
Well, look down in the lower right-hand corner. Did you put it in the dock bar? I mean, you might have minimized it.
Hey,
Yay, you're back.
see, that was good. That was good.
Mine says Zoom meeting at the top of the window.
I want to tell you something. I have a straight A average at a master's degree.
that's
This has
wonderful.
nothing to do with that. This
Don't
is a
believe
different
any of that stuff.
Animal.
That's wonderful.
I understand why you're saying it, but this is a different issue.
I'm saying this so that I don't go out of here feeling bad about myself.
Well,
You
okay.
shouldn't.
That's the thing. Now, that's the perfect entree for me to say what I want to say about all that. And that, as it pertains to computers in my halting, cumbersome way, you guys got to remember this. Now, don't be insulted when I use sexist language either. You guys got to get this one thing. Computers are absolutely stupid. They only can do what you tell them to do. Now, there's there's counterexamples and there's lies, and you know, that's not entirely the case, but it's better to remember that than anything else, because you're in control of this thing. It's not in control of you. You're going to be doing battle with it, but still, you know.
Why is that so funny? Because it doesn't feel that way at all. Feels like it does things that you had no intention of it doing. So
Like I'm in
I know
the
on
grip
that-
of a monster.
Mary Lou, you know my husband, Bruce, he's a professor, right? And he writes books all the time. He's very smart, but he cannot figure out his computer. He's constantly telling me, the computer did this. And I keep saying, no, you did this.
yeah,
Is he writing them in a word processor?
Yeah, in Word.
In Word, yeah.
Every now and then he does something and things disappear and he edits whole sections and then he can't find the edits and he just gets so mad. But little by little he does it and he writes a lot of books. So
it hasn't stopped him from publishing. So we'll give him credit for that a lot. So we won't give him any.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Should we go to page 2?
yep, sounds good.
And I don't know if Linda, have you got this document? You know what we're referring to, or is this just?
Tech
Yeah.
tips. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Harry,
Oh, okay.
Harry, actually, what I wanted to ask is, you know, you referred to browsers earlier. Do you want to go over browser first? And then,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
that was
thought-
one of the questions from last time. I've skipped that whole list here. How does Alexa filter in? More about streaming, left and right click, we've covered that. Undo, we've covered that. Getting in and out of email, well, Delma's not here, so we skipped that. But you absolutely right. What's a browser? Difference between browsers? Is that your question? Is that
But
what
really quick, I'm going to
Yeah.
speak for Delma. She couldn't get into her email to get to this meeting. So, because Siri was in the way, I was trying to talk to her. I couldn't do it because I have to see. I can't. So
I'm
anyway,
going out there to-
FYI. Okay. So,
That's why she's
FYI.
not here. That's too bad. Okay.
okay.
And she needs this navigation.
I know.
Well, she can look at the recording with one of us with her.
Yeah, okay.
Because you
So
want
let me,
her here.
I'll
Well,
bring
the
this
reason we
back
need to know
up.
about browsers is I can see along my bottom now, I can see a thing that says Chrome and Firefox.
Right.
But I don't know, I mean, I don't know when I'm using which one.
Well,
Okay.
there's a
now
little
that's it.
dot underneath the one you're using.
Really?
Yeah, and if there's dot under both of them, you can close one
Oh, I see the
by
dot.
saying quit by right clicking or using 2 fingers on your touchpad and then say quit, and then that dot will go away.
I've never seen that dot before. See,
That-
mine's way down at the bottom and I can hardly see the dot.
Right,
but
that dot tells you what apps you have open, and I always close all of mine before I sign out.
That's a very good tip. Anything with a dot next to it is a running app.
And
Wow.
it's taking up a lot of room doing
Whoa.
that. Do you know, does this apply to an iPad, guys, or is it
No.
totally irrelevant? Yeah, that's not good. Yeah,
Oh, I've never seen that.
yeah. Okay, so
iPad is
that's,
like an iPhone.
On the iPad, you double click your start button or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
To see what programs are running and close them. So
Mhm,
you save your battery life.
mhm.
so it's important to close those. Yeah.
Like your iPhone, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
like your iPhone, you double click and then you
Oh.
just,
You've got a mini too. I just got one. I'm learning it. I had trouble with Kindle and I'm a
Too many things
long-term Kindle
open.
user. Oh, look at all
Susie,
those. Oh, my
does
goodness.
that need to be clarified?
Now, Chrissy, aren't those web pages?
Yeah, too many web pages open, see?
I don't know how to close those. I occasionally come across that. But on my iPhone that doesn't have a button, how do I get to
Yes,
that?
it does on the phone itself.
Yeah,
You know?
so
On
Demonstrate,
that little
Chrissy.
circle.
I went to my,
Oh,
But on new phones, there's no button.
oh,
How do
so
you-
Oh,
on
yeah.
the new phone, I already cleared it out. Here, let me spotlight myself.
But how do you get to all those things?
He's gonna
Yeah.
show you.
How did you do that?
There's a glare. Is there a glare,
You
everybody?
can see
Yeah.
it, though.
There, that's good.
I lifted up, but see, I don't have any open. Let me open some stuff. And then
Well,
we
you
can-
double click the main home button.
There's no home button.
There's no home button, but you lift up. Let me do it again.
Well, there's two questions on the table here that I can
What
see.
do you want this?
You lift
How do
up.
you close web pages and how do you close apps? They're two different questions.
Okay.
Right.
Did you see how I did that? So I lifted up from the,
Betty Ann, do you see? She
Yeah,
put
but
her
mine
finger up.
doesn't work.
Yes, you got it now. See, Betty Ann?
you kind of lift up from,
Well, I'll figure it out. Go ahead, Larry.
but
wanted
yeah,
to-
it just, when you get,
And then when you get those pages, how do you get rid of them, Chrissy?
you X out.
Your little X's in the corners.
Okay.
I sometimes find that, but I don't know how to get to it.
Okay, just flip your finger up slowly.
Okay. Oh, I see.
All right. Yeah, good.
Oh, on mine, you just slide them up.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And that's why you use up your battery so fast.
Yeah.
All this, you're supposed to close them every night
Yeah.
Whoa.
or eliminate them.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then, you go to your Safari or whatever you use to open, or your Google or your search engine,
Yeah.
and that'll
Okay,
open them all
browsers.
too. Browser, yeah.
Browsers.
See, I don't use the
Back to
language.
browsers.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to browser.
Okay.
Beware, your screen's gonna jump here.
Okay.
Don't be annoyed.
Oh, there she is.
International Women's Day.
Mhm.
That's one of my browsers. That happens to be my Mozilla Firefox browser.
Mhm.
I have several tabs open.
Mhm.
Here's the browser that comes with your Mac, your
Safari.
Windows Explorer.
Oh,
Your Apple Safari browser, yeah. And I've only got 3 tabs open. I've got an Apple tab, I got a Microsoft tab, and I got a YouTube tab. Now, is everybody familiar with tabbed browsing?
No, actually, I would like to hear about that.
So I can get on my little soapbox about tab browsing.
yes, please do.
It comes up when we talk about how to deal with Google search results. So it really is kind of integral to the whole clue here. So and you're all going to be on a different browser. Some of them are easier to work with than others. I prefer, let me get my notes down here and close my Finder windows.
Browser.
Here's my Mozilla browser. In order to open a new tab in my Mozilla browser, all I got to do is hit this plus button. And I'm trying to obscure the clutter that's around the edges here as best I can, so you can all not get distracted. You got a simple plus button to add an empty tab. This is a new tab without I haven't clicked on anything. It just happens to come up with all my top sites because that's how I've chosen to have it come up. But close that tab, start a new tab, close the tab. That's how you create a tab. Now, how do you do it in Safari? You're supposed to be able to do it with the Apple T or Apple N for a new window, but it doesn't work for me. So I've got a different keyboard I'm running. So what you have to do is go up to the menu. I don't get this on my screen here. I got to edge it up there.
Isn't
Now
there
you're
a-
able to see that whenever you click. This is the convenience of a Mac machine. The program you're running has a menu at the top. You click to a different program or different application, and it's a menu at the top. Windows doesn't have that. It's a wonderful thing because it's going to give you a context sensitive help menu, which is another thing I really wanted to get to. Help menu is going to be context sensitive depending on which application you have on top.
And you know that because it tells you right after the Apple what's up, right? It says Firefox there, so you
I'm
know
running
that.
Firefox here, and that's I can get a new. But how do I get a new window on Safari? You got to go to, what is it? File, new window.
Oh, okay.
Not new window. That's not what I want. I want a new tab. I mean, let's see, terminology and nomenclature, critical, not new window. That'll open a new window. I don't need new windows. I got one window. I want to use tab. So I'm going to go to File, New Tab. There's a new blank tab. I haven't gone to a website yet. This is just what the browser gives me as a place to start. Anybody confused?
Yeah, but is that how you get these into favorites?
No, well, your favorites are, mine happen to be along the top here.
Mine are on the side.
They're under bookmarks. The favorites are under bookmarks.
In Windows, they're called favorites, isn't that right? And then in Apple, they're called bookmarks.
No, there's actually a favorites category under bookmarks in the menu bar. Click on that and let's see, where is it? Oh, I don't see it on yours.
I see add bookmark.
Nobody has this number of bookmarks. It's insane, you know. But so let's say I want to open a bookmark in one of my bookmarks on it in a new tab. Well, I got to go. These are groups. I got to right click it. Isn't that right? And nope, that didn't help. So I'm already lost. That's not the way to do it. Anyway, we're browsing.
Why isn't it on the right-hand side of the screen where it says where there is a plus sign?
Yeah.
There it is.
Why isn't that a new tab?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just unfamiliar with the new. They make these changes and they don't contact me first.
They never ask us first. That's the problem.
So the plus on the Safari bar will create a new tab.
There it is. Thank you for pointing it out.
Tab. Okay.
Oh.
So well, yeah, it looks like you can do it in two places. You can either do it
Mhm.
with the plus mark on the at the
File.
top,
Yeah. And
or you can go up into the menu bar and do it up there.
Right.
that's right. That's the clumsy way to do it. But skipping ahead just for a second, notice that when you go to the menu bar and you choose one of your options here, off to the side, there's some gobbledygook. You all know what that means. Those are keyboard shortcuts.
Mhm.
Oh,
So everything, many things you want to do quickly have a keyboard shortcut indicated by the off to the right.
oh.
Now I dare you to try new tab with a Apple. This is a funky keyboard. I got a Logitech keyboard. It doesn't want to cooperate. If I had my Apple keyboard, I wanted to try to be more universal. So I got a keyboard that's made for Windows and Apple users. And anyway, yeah, just to say. So
Schizophrenic.
yeah, you gotta have multiple personalities when you're sharing this stuff. So okay, now the greatest trick for tab browsing, the meaning of tab browsing, I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to open a new Safari or a new Firefox window, a fresh new window.
Can I ask, Harry, can I ask a question? Is there an advantage of one browser over another browser? In other words, Firefox or?
Not really. There are, people used to be annoyed by the Gmail browser. I keep forgetting what it's called, but it's
Google?
yeah, I use it on other machines, and they think they all track your progress. They all track you across the internet unless you turn off tracking. So there's,
But remember last week, Donna Rayforth said that certain times you have to use Google Chrome. Yeah, I know I cannot use Safari to get into certain bank accounts and stuff.
yeah.
So
Well,
there
you-
might be some
have
things
trouble.
that are limited, but
That's right.
Google Chrome seems to be the most universal, but it doesn't mean that it works any better. It for most purposes, right?
That's right. Sometimes when you're frustrated at a site that you're going to be using quite frequently, It's not your fault in the least. It's the fault of that site. It's not universal. It's not made for every browser. Please realize that. Don't put up with it. Just read the fine print or call the bank and they'll tell you our website works better with these browsers than these browsers. So yes, there are reasons to have more than one browser on your machine.
So, but when you say that, so if the bank said that, then I would click on, say, Chrome, because I have that symbol on the bottom of my screen, and that means once I've clicked on it that I'm in that, and then I go to Bank of America or something?
Right. It's just a different browser, Betty, and it's exactly the same. It's just a different way to get it to the internet.
Oh.
Betty Ann and I are a lot alike.
Okay.
I tried
That's why I like you, Linda.
to access my bank account and I tried so many times they've locked me out.
Oh, I hate that.
Get that? Who hasn't got that? Yeah. Absolutely.
That's great. That's
All right.
great.
Well, anyway, I got your screen occupied. I better do something with it here.
Okay.
Most browsers, this is the address bar here. You see where that's the address bar. That's where we used to have to type www.http:/:, and then the name of the site. Let's see what I get. Some porn site. But you don't have to do that anymore. You can type whatever you're looking for and it'll take you to a Google search. So that's both for specific addresses if you have one that somebody sent you, and for general searches. That's called your address bar. You can, let me go back. You can use the search window on your start screen, but you don't have to anymore. They got tired of people, asking them to make it in the search, put it in the search bar, for crying out loud, and they finally did. So anyway, okay, so search for anything. What was, Delma wanted me to search for that Irish lord.
Okay.
Irish Lord.
Yes. The guy she was having dinner with on the cruise.
Oh.
Turned out that he had 9 kids by one wife, and he had brought the 2 kids from his mistress on the cruise.
Well,
And
he's
she
a
was sharing his
rascal.
table. This makes it all the more interesting, right?
All the more interesting.
He's a Lord.
So come to Story Share sometime and you'll hear the full story. Or-
Okay.
Replay the one. I missed it, so I got to replay it. Now, okay, so you all know how to do a Google search more or less, right?
Right.
Here's a neat trick that makes life with a Google search a lot more fun and productive. You have 97,300,000 results. Okay, that's happy. That's great. I can go through a page or two and I can click on each one of these one at a time and open a page, find out whether I like it or not, go back. Okay, I can do that. That's the slow way. What you want to do, and watch out, these are ads at the top. If you
Well,
want
you have
the
to be
ad,
careful.
fine. If you don't
Yeah.
want the ad, don't click on the ads. Get down to the meat of the situation. And if you want to look at just images for something you happen to be searching, apparently there's a fish called an Irish lord. I had no idea. So that's interesting. But you can tune your results by just videos, just shopping, just news, just images. Let's say with all for now, the standard result is all. Anything that's blue will take you to a new page. Well, what you want to do, look at the ones that are interesting, that aren't an ad, and right click it instead.
That means 2 fingers on the touchpad.
2 fingers on your touchpad.
Or right side of your mouse.
And what will that do?
That gives you a sub menu. That gives you an option menu where you can open that link in a new tab. Instead of losing your research results and going off half-cocked, you retain your search results, and yet you have that one open in a new tab.
Yeah.
That link, that result, that particular result. Do it with several.
And in order to get back to the general list, all you do is click on the arrow, the back arrow.
No, you just go over one tab.
I'm clicking on my tabs.
So you have
Oh, okay.
you have
see.
one tab open with the result of Red Irish Lord for the Department of Fish
I
and
see.
Labor,
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, I
and
see
your
it.
research tab still open.
and I'm gonna click on one of these ads just because, why not? Okay, so it's not, it's,
I'm a
it's
lord or a
wanting
lady
to-
today.
that's beautiful covers. But the thing is, sometimes you get to a page, I need to do a different search to try to demonstrate a page that's so full of clickbait that you don't even want to use it. And
Yeah.
Tell us what clickbait is.
I'm trying to, I don't have a good example. What would
Well,
I search for in Google that would bring me a whole bunch of clickbait?
COVID-19. I don't know.
COVID-19?
Maybe.
I don't think that's going to bring me clickbait.
How about car deals?
Party.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by clickbait, you mean ads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
Sometimes
Just trying to get your attention.
these are all here. Like for instance, here's one here. Of course, it's asking me to sign in. It's not exactly clickbait, but all these ads and these pop-ups, a lot of them will actually obscure the page you're trying to look at. These,
Yeah, makes
you know,
it
and they'll
crazy.
like this. Notice how this car ad stays with me as I scroll through.
There's
Yeah,
another
but
one.
these aren't quite as annoying as some of them can be. But as soon as, if you can't see what you're looking for to get the answer you need, close that tab, get
Mhm.
out of there, get back to your search results, try a different result.
Hey, because I never use tabs. What do you mean?
Okay, this is what, see my arrow at the top where I'm
Yeah.
changing all these pages in one window? I'm still using one window,
Huh.
but these are
In
different
other words-
tabs, like a tab, like it's just a manila folder. It's a name from the
Oh, I
old
see.
manila
Okay.
folder days.
Yeah.
So it's a way to stay on your main search page, Betty Ann, but get results next to each other and see if they're what you want. And if you don't need that, you go out of it, but you still have your main search topic on the far left.
Okay.
That far
How-
left
how do
tab
you-
is your search engine, Google search.
I'm gonna get out of here and maybe
I
if you
wish
could
your
out-
thing could be bigger. It's kind of hard to see the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those,
The tabs.
yeah, 'cause
Yes,
it's really
yes.
small.
It gives us an idea.
I'll
Yeah.
have to go into,
This is
magnify.
great. I like what you're doing and I will rejoin you, but I have to go pick up my
Right.
my
But
little
we're getting close to out of time. So one thing we want to talk about is that we agreed last time that what we want to do is do about every 2 weeks have a session. So we've set up some dates. 2 weeks from now is March 23rd, and then April 6th, April 20th, May 4th. Those dates are every 2 weeks from now, and Chrissy will be sending them out. So that's
Yes.
about how often we're doing that. And we're going to stick with the same time. One thing I've really picked up on is this is going to be much more useful for Apple users, and we need to make sure we're being relevant to iPad users. Isn't that right? Is it
Yeah,
helping
I could-
iPad users or not?
I think
Yeah.
we've
Well,
lost people. We've lost a person.
These doesn't really apply a whole lot to what I do with an iPad, I don't think.
Okay.
But we can get into that if we need.
Well, so, I mean, I think one
demonstration
thing
was
we
very helpful.
really need to think about, what would be a next topic that might include some people who didn't get included this time?
So that's where the survey comes in, that I'll email to everybody, and you can add
Right.
that. You
You can
click
add
on
your
the link.
topic of choice, but
take you-
also we can talk about it for a minute because
Yeah,
I
does
know what
anyone
I
have
want
any
to do.
ideas? Like you, Rex, or you, Weiss, what would be helpful to you guys?
Well, I'm not sure because a lot of the things that we're going over today, I was kind of familiar with. And when I go to a computer, I have a PC, not a Mac.
Uh-huh.
But the things, you know, I guess I'm just here in general to see some things and maybe I can pick up something here and there.
Probably the search stuff would be useful, and also organizing the files would be a little different, but you could experiment on your own computer and then Harry does know PCs, so you could come back with questions
Yeah.
if you
I
need
think,
to.
I think learning the terminology, I mean, I think just what we've done today in going over some of this terminology, Harry, I think did a really nice job of kind of helping us understand what some of these terms mean,
Right.
you know, and what they, you know, how they're used and so forth. Learning that, and then you can take that to apply it to your own situation, your own device, and see how that terminology applies to that device, such as an iPad or an iPhone or a PC or, you know, that kind of thing.
And we earlier brought up, you know, the iCloud, syncing her iPad and iPhone. So that's
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. How do you go to an iCloud?
Okay, and iCloud, understanding iCloud was something that Susie was interested in and something that Weiss is interested in. Are other people interested in understanding iCloud?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that should be the focus of our next session,
Yeah.
at least in part.
Sure.
It seems to be
Yeah.
common to everybody.
Try to go there first. We can do that. We'll do that next session. Try to go there first at apple.com and get a feel for what you can learn there as well.
Okay.
Because you're really
Hi, Linda.
available to you at any time.
And another common theme that we'll probably tackle in one of these sessions is the whole thing of streaming and streaming devices. That will be coming in the future too.
That'd be
But
good.
let's, for now, let's focus on, and what we'll try to do at the end of each session, I think we are going to end up helping some people more than others, but hopefully the tools will apply if you try them out. And then if you get stuck with those, even if you have a different device, it's fine for you to bring that up the next time. It's not distracting. Harry knows a lot about PCs, and we can't necessarily answer all the questions, but we can try to bring some people on who can answer them. So don't hesitate to bug us.
And I think it would be a good idea to talk about iPhones and iPads and how the two relate, you know, the similarities between the two,
Okay,
and then the differences between an iPad and a PC. What do they call it?
Android
Tablet.
Tablet. You know, what's the difference between an iPad and a tablet?
Okay.
You know, one is a PC and one is a.
We might need to get some expertise on adding in with those devices. So we'll,
Yeah.
we can do that, guys. We've got some people willing to help us out with that.
But a lot of this has been, they've gone over the years, there's been a lot of crossover between the world of Windows and the world of Apple. And so a lot of what we talk about, tab browsing, for instance, is universally applicable. And exploring in your Explorer, called a Finder in a Mac and called an Explorer in a Windows, is it's still navigating. It's still essential to find your folders and files.
Okay.
There's a lot of universality without getting into the weeds about the exact differences.
And
But-
thanks for writing down the shortcuts, because that's going to be really helpful.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I was wondering if you could send out the those handouts again, because I can't find my paper copy and I can't find it online either.
sure.
Denise needs them too.
Okay, we'll send out when Chrissy sends out the survey, and as you think more about today, don't hesitate to give us advice on what would be more helpful to you, what topics you wish we would do, what makes it easier or hard, are we going the right pace? Are we stopping often enough to find out about your questions? And then, so Chrissy will do the survey, give us feedback, and then she'll also send those handouts again, the two.
Good.
And we
Yeah,
might have
good.
some new ones for next time. So when you log in next time, when you get invited to the meeting, or maybe between now and then, we'll send you any new things we have on iCloud or anything else, okay?
Okay, great, thanks.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay. Well, this was a full hour and a half, guys.
Oh, my God.
So thanks all for coming. And I think we lost a few people, but we found a few people, and hopefully we'll figure out what happened with Delma and go on from here. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everybody. All
Thanks.
right.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care.
We're trying.
Yeah.